You have spent your entire life believing that the eyes of the world are upon you, that every move you make is being scrutinized, every decision weighed and measured by the invisible jury of your peers. You worry about what they will think, what they will say, how they will judge you. You modify your behavior, suppress your desires, and diminish your dreams, all in service to an audience that exists primarily in your own imagination. But I tell you now with absolute certainty that this audience you fear so much is nothing more than a projection of your own consciousness. The world is not sitting in judgment of you because the world is too preoccupied with its own internal dramas, its own fears, its own desperate attempts to gain approval from others who are equally preoccupied with themselves. It is a grand comedy of mirrors, each person looking anxiously at the others, wondering what impression they are making, while those very others are doing exactly the same thing. When you truly grasp this fundamental truth, when you allow it to penetrate not just your mind but your very being, you will experience a freedom so profound that it will transform every aspect of your existence. For you see, the moment you realize that nobody cares in the way you thought they did, you are suddenly free to care about what truly matters, your own life, your own growth, your own magnificent journey of becoming. This is not a call to selfishness or indifference toward others. Rather, it is a call to the highest form of self-responsibility. When you stop waiting for the world to notice you, approve of you, or validate your existence, you begin to take full ownership of your experience. You become the author of your own story instead of a character desperately seeking a favorable review. The consciousness that you are is the only reality you will ever know. Everything you experience, every person you encounter, every situation you find yourself in, is colored and shaped by the state of consciousness from which you observe it. This is why two people can witness the same event and have completely different experiences of it. This is why your life changes not when the world changes, but when your consciousness changes. Most people live their lives backwards. They wait for circumstances to change so that they can feel different. They wait for recognition from others before they can feel worthy. They wait for permission from the world before they can pursue their dreams. But the awakened individual knows that consciousness is the cause, not the effect. Your internal state creates your external experience, not the other way around. When you finally accept that nobody cares about your life in the way you imagined, you are confronted with a profound question. Do you care about your own life? Do you value your own dreams, your own growth, your own happiness? Or have you been so busy seeking validation from others that you have forgotten to validate yourself? The truth is that you are the only person who will live your entire life with you. You are the only consciousness that will experience every moment of your existence. You are the only one who truly knows your heart, your desires, your potential. Why then would you give the power to determine your worth to people who barely know you, who have their own lives to live, their own problems to solve? I want you to imagine for a moment what your life would look like if you truly lived as though nobody cared about your choices in the way you fear they do. What would you pursue? What dreams would you dare to chase? What risks would you take? What authentic expression of yourself would you allow to emerge? This is not a hypothetical question. This is an invitation to step into the reality that already exists the moment you choose to see it. The paradox of human nature is that the less you need validation from others, the more likely you are to receive it. When you are no longer desperately seeking approval, you naturally become more authentic, more confident, more attractive to others. You begin to operate from a place of wholeness rather than lack. And this wholeness is magnetic. But by then you will care less about their approval, because you will have discovered something far more valuable, self-approval. You must understand that your imagination is the workshop of your life. Every experience you have ever had began as an imaginal act. Every achievement, every relationship, every circumstance in your life was first imagined before it became manifest. But most people use their imagination against themselves. They imagine criticism, rejection, failure. They spend their mental energy rehearsing conversations that may never happen, worrying about judgments that exist only in their minds. What if instead you used your imagination deliberately and purposefully? What if you imagine yourself living boldly, pursuing your dreams without apology, creating the life you truly desire? What if you imagined yourself free from the need for constant validation, secure in your own worth, confident in your own path? The beautiful truth is that you can begin this transformation immediately. You do not need to wait for circumstances to change. You do not need permission from anyone. You simply need to change the conversation you are having with yourself. Instead of asking, what will they think? Ask, what do I want to create? Instead of wondering, will they approve? Wonder, does this align with my highest vision for myself? Your attention is your most precious resource. Where you place your attention determines the quality of your experience. If you constantly focus on what others might think of you, you are literally creating a reality in which their opinions seem to matter more than your own. But if you focus on your own growth, your own dreams, your own expansion, you create a reality in which these things become the dominant forces in your life. Consider the great achievers throughout history. Do you think they spent their time worrying about what their neighbors thought of their ambitions? Do you imagine that they sought permission from society before pursuing their visions? Of course not. They were too busy being consumed by their own magnificent obsessions, too focused on their own creative expressions, too committed to their own path to be concerned with the opinions of those who were not on the journey with them. This does not mean they were cruel or indifferent to others. In fact, many of them contributed greatly to the welfare of humanity. But they understood that their greatest contribution came not from trying to please everyone, but from fully expressing their unique gifts and talents. They knew that the world needed what they had to offer, and they offered it freely, regardless of whether everyone appreciated it. You have something unique to offer this world. There's a contribution that only you can make, a gift that only you can give, a story that only you can tell. But you will never discover what this is if you are constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering what others think. You will never develop your talents if you are afraid of being judged. You will never fulfill your potential if you are waiting for permission from a world that is too busy with its own affairs to grant it. The state of consciousness I am inviting you to enter is one of sublime indifference to the opinions of others, coupled with passionate engagement with your own life. This is not the indifference of apathy, but the indifference of sovereignty. You become like a king or queen of your own domain, concerned primarily with ruling your kingdom well rather than with what neighboring kingdoms think of your policies. When you operate from this state of consciousness, magical things begin to happen. Opportunities appear that were always there but invisible to your anxious eyes. Resources become available that were always present but inaccessible to your worried mind. People are drawn to your energy because authenticity is rare and magnetic in a world full of people performing for approval. But perhaps most importantly, you begin to experience a peace that surpasses understanding. The constant chatter of worry about others' opinions quiets. The exhausting performance of trying to be what you think others want you to be ends. You can finally rest in the simple, profound truth of who you are. This does not happen overnight. Like all transformations of consciousness, it requires practice, patience, and persistence. You will have moments when you slip back into old patterns of seeking validation. You will catch yourself modifying your behavior based on imagined judgments. But each time you notice this happening, you have an opportunity to choose again. You can return to the truth that nobody cares in the way you think they do. And therefore you are free to focus on what truly matters, your own magnificent life. The practice I recommend is this. Whenever you find yourself worried about what others think, pause and ask yourself this question. What would I do if I knew that nobody was watching, nobody was judging, and I was completely free to choose based on my own values and desires? Then do that thing. Make that choice. Take that action. Not because you are rebellious or defiant, but because you are sovereign. Remember that every person you encounter is dealing with their own internal world, their own fears, their own dreams, their own struggles. They are not sitting around thinking about you nearly as much as you imagine they are. They are thinking about themselves, their own lives, their own concerns. This is not a failing on their part. It is simply human nature. We all live primarily in our own consciousness, experiencing life through our own unique perspective. When you truly understand this, compassion naturally arises both for others and for yourself. You stop taking things so personally because you realize that other people's reactions to you are more about their own internal state than about you. You also stop being so hard on yourself for past mistakes or imperfections because you realize that most people were too busy with their own lives to notice or remember them anyway. This understanding liberates you to experiment with life, to try new things, to take creative risks. You begin to approach life with the curiosity of a scientist rather than the fear of a defendant. What would happen if you tried this? What would you discover if you explored that? How would you grow if you challenge yourself in this way? The consciousness that recognizes nobody cares, focus on your life, is not a consciousness of isolation but of liberation. You are not separating yourself from others. You are freeing yourself to relate to others from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. You are not becoming selfish, you are becoming self-directed. You are not abandoning community. You are preparing to contribute to community from your authentic self rather than from a false persona designed to gain approval. As you embark on this journey of focusing on your own life, you will discover depths within yourself that you never knew existed. Talents will emerge that were suppressed by your concern for others' opinions. Interests will develop that were previously dismissed because they seemed too unconventional. Dreams will crystallize that were previously too vague because you were afraid to want them too specifically. You will also discover that your relationships improve dramatically. When you are no longer desperate for validation, you can love others more freely. When you are not constantly worried about what others think of you, you can be more present with them. When you are secure in your own worth, you can appreciate others without jealousy or competition. The greatest gift you can give to anyone is your authentic self, fully expressed and unapologetically real. But you cannot give this gift if you are constantly modifying yourself based on what you think others want to receive. You cannot share your true talents if you are hiding them out of fear of judgment. You cannot offer your unique perspective if you are too busy trying to echo what you think others want to hear. As you practice this new way of being, you will notice that your energy changes. Where you once felt drained by constant worry about others' opinions, you now feel energized by focusing on your own growth and creation. Where you once felt scattered by trying to please everyone, you now feel centered and focused. Where you once felt small and insignificant, you now feel expansive and powerful. This transformation affects every area of your life. In your work, you begin to pursue opportunities that align with your interests and values rather than those that you think will impress others. In your relationships, you attract people who appreciate your authentic self rather than those who are drawn to your performance. In your creative expression, you explore mediums and messages that truly inspire you rather than those you think will gain approval. The old you was like an actor playing a role, constantly checking with the audience to see if the performance was being well received. The new you is like an artist creating from inspiration, too absorbed in the joy of creation to be concerned with the reviews. Both the actor and the artist may end up with an audience, but their relationship to that audience is completely different. Remember that this shift in consciousness is not about becoming indifferent to the welfare of others. In fact, when you are no longer desperately seeking validation, you become more genuinely helpful to others. You can offer assistance from a place of abundance rather than from a need to be needed. You can give advice based on what you truly believe rather than what you think the person wants to hear. You can love without attachment to being loved in return. The practice of focusing on your own life, while maintaining the understanding that nobody cares in the way you imagine, creates a beautiful paradox. You become simultaneously more independent and more connected, more self-focused and more generous, more confident and more humble. This is because you are finally operating from your true nature rather than from a defensive posture. As weeks and months pass with this new awareness, you will look back at your old way of being with a mixture of compassion and amazement. You will wonder how you ever lived in such self-imposed restrictions, how you ever gave so much power to the imagined opinions of others. You will feel like someone who has been released from a prison they didn't even know they were in. But the most profound realization will be this: the freedom you experience is not something you gain, but something you return to. This liberated state is your natural condition. The anxiety about others' opinions was learned, practiced, and reinforced over years of conditioning. The peace of focusing on your own life is your birthright, your original nature, your true home. Tonight, as you leave this place and return to your daily life, I invite you to carry this truth with you. Nobody cares about your life in the way your anxious mind suggests they do. And this is the most liberating truth you could ever embrace. They are too busy with their own lives, their own dreams, their own fears, their own journeys. And so, my friend, focus on yours. Focus on your growth, your dreams, your unique path, your magnificent becoming. The world needs what you have to offer, but you will never discover what that is if you are constantly looking for permission to offer it. You will never develop your gifts if you are afraid of being criticized for having them. You will never fulfill your destiny if you are waiting for a world that is too preoccupied with its own destiny to notice yours. Step boldly into the truth of your own sovereignty. Embrace the magnificent responsibility of being the author of your own experience. Release the exhausting burden of trying to control what others think of you, and take up the joyful work of creating a life that reflects your deepest values and highest aspirations. This is not the end of your relationship with the world, but the beginning of a healthy one. This is not isolation, but integration. This is not selfishness, but self-actualization. And from this place of wholeness, authenticity, and inner direction, you will contribute more to the world than you ever from a place of need, performance, and external validation. The journey begins now with this understanding, with this choice, with this moment of recognizing that you are free to focus on your own magnificent life. Nobody cares in the way you thought they did. And that, my dear friend, is the beginning of everything beautiful.
I invite you to consider a profound truth, one that may revolutionize the way you approach life. For too long, many of us have been caught in the ceaseless effort to manifest our desires, believing that we must strive, struggle, and work tirelessly to bring our dreams into reality. But what if I told you that this very effort, this trying so hard, is the very thing standing in the way of your desires? What if I told you that what you seek is already yours, waiting for you to claim it not through toil, but through the quiet assurance of its existence? There is a power within you, an infinite and boundless force that shapes your reality. This power does not respond to frantic effort or desperate striving. Instead, it aligns with the quiet, unwavering belief that what you desire is already a part of your life. Your dreams, your aspirations, your deepest longings, they are not distant, elusive things that you must chase down. They are as close to you as your own breath, waiting for you to acknowledge them as already yours. Consider this: when you plant a seed in the ground, you do not stand over it, willing it to grow with every ounce of your energy. You know without a shadow of a doubt that the seed will sprout and flourish in its own time. You trust the process, confident in the knowledge that the result is inevitable. So too should you trust in the fulfillment of your desires. The moment you conceive of a wish, it is as if you have planted a seed in the fertile soil of your imagination. Your only task is to nurture it with faith, knowing that it will grow and blossom into reality. Stop trying so hard to manifest. Stop wrestling with the universe, pleading and pushing for what you want. Instead, shift your focus. Begin to live in the end. See your desires as already accomplished. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the peace that comes with the realization that what you want is already yours. When you embody this state of mind, when you truly live as though your dreams have already come true, you align yourself with the power that creates worlds. Imagine for a moment the person you would be if everything you desired were already a part of your life. How would you think? How would you feel? How would you act? Hold this image in your mind and let it guide your thoughts and actions. You do not need to strain or struggle. You only need to dwell in the consciousness of your fulfilled desires. This is the secret. The world without is a reflection of the world within. When you change the inner conversation, when you truly believe in the reality of your desires, the outer world must conform to that belief. In this state, there is no need for frantic effort or desperate trying. You become the calm, confident creator of your reality, knowing that all you desire is already yours. You walk through life with a quiet assurance, unbothered by circumstances, undisturbed by appearances. For you know that the invisible power within you is constantly at work, bringing into being the very things you have claimed in your imagination. There is a profound misconception that we must fight against the tides of life, exerting every ounce of energy to bring our dreams into existence. We have been taught to believe that only through relentless effort can we achieve what we desire. But I stand before you today to tell you that this is not the way. The more you struggle, the more you push, the further you drift from the realization of your desires. The truth is that your desires are not something you need to chase, they are something you need to claim. You see, the moment you conceive a desire in your mind, it is not merely a fleeting wish. It is a reality that has already begun to take shape in the unseen realm. Your desires are like seeds planted in the fertile ground of your imagination. They do not require force to grow, they require belief. They require the quiet, unwavering conviction that they are already fulfilled. This is the key to manifestation, not trying hard, but knowing that it is already done. Imagine for a moment that your life is a grand stage, and you are the actor, the director, and the playwright all in one. The script you follow is not one of struggle or striving, but of certainty and assurance. In this script, you do not beg or plead for what you want. You simply assume the role of the person who already possesses it. You move through life with the confidence that comes from knowing that your desires are not a distant dream, but a present reality. How would you act if you knew, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that everything you wanted was already yours? How would you feel? How would you think? This is the state of mind you must cultivate, the state of living in the end. When you live as though your desires are already fulfilled, you align yourself with the very power that brings them into being. This power does not respond to desperate attempts or frantic efforts, it responds to the calm, assured knowing that what you seek is already yours. There is no need to try so hard to manifest. The more you try, the more you affirm that you do not have what you desire. And in doing so, you create resistance that pushes your desires further away. Instead, let go of the struggle. Let go of the need to force things into being. Instead, embrace the state of having. Embrace the feeling that it is already done. This is the secret to effortless manifestation. When you truly believe that your desires are already fulfilled, you begin to see the world differently. You no longer react to circumstances with fear or doubt. You no longer question whether or not you will achieve your dreams. You simply live in the confidence that they are already yours, and the world around you must conform to this belief. This is the law of consciousness. The world reflects back to you what you believe to be true. So, my friends, I urge you to stop trying so hard. Stop the endless striving and struggling. Instead, rest in the quiet assurance that what you seek is already yours. Live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Walk through life with the calm confidence that comes from knowing that you are the creator of your reality, and that reality has already taken shape in accordance with your deepest desires. In this state, you will find that life becomes easier, more joyful, and more abundant. You will no longer be at the mercy of circumstances, but will instead be the master of your own destiny. You will discover that manifestation is not about effort, but about alignment with the truth that what you desire is already yours. The understanding that your desires are already yours is a profound shift in consciousness that can fundamentally change the way you approach life. This concept invites you to see your desires not as distant goals to be achieved through hard work and effort, but as realities that already exist within the unseen realm, waiting to be recognized and claimed by you. When you have a desire, it is not a mere wish or a fleeting thought. It is an indication that what you seek is already a part of your reality. The moment you conceive a desire, the potential for its fulfillment is created simultaneously. This understanding requires a shift from the conventional mindset of I will have to the more powerful mindset of I already have. It is about recognizing that the moment you desire something, the creation of that desire is set into motion. This is not about deluding yourself or engaging in wishful thinking. It is about aligning with the truth that your desires are expressions of possibilities that already exist. By embracing this mindset, you no longer see your desires as something to be achieved in the future, but as something that already belongs to you in the present. This shift from lack to fulfillment is crucial because the way you perceive your desires determines how you interact with them. When you believe that your desires are already yours, you naturally begin to act, think, and feel as though they are part of your current reality. This state of mind is not about pretending or forcing yourself to feel something that isn't true. It's about genuinely embodying the state of having. This means living in a state of gratitude and contentment, as though your desires have already been fulfilled. This state of being creates a powerful resonance within you that aligns with the reality of your desires, drawing them into your experience with ease. The world around you begins to reflect this inner state, and what you once saw as a distant possibility becomes a tangible reality. Understanding that your desires are already yours also means releasing the need to control how and when they will manifest. When you truly believe that what you want is already yours, you no longer feel the need to micromanage every step of the process. Instead, you trust in the natural flow of life, knowing that your desires will unfold in perfect timing. This trust allows you to live with a sense of peace and certainty, free from the anxiety and fear that often accompany the pursuit of goals. You become less concerned with how things will happen and more focused on the knowing that they will happen. The power of belief over struggle is a key principle that challenges the common notion that hard work and effort are the only paths to success. We have been conditioned to think that if we want something, we must push ourselves to the limit, often exhausting our mental and physical resources in the process. However, this approach overlooks a fundamental truth: the power to create our reality lies not in how hard we try, but in how deeply we believe. Belief is the engine that drives manifestation. It is the quiet, unwavering conviction that what you desire is already a reality. When you truly believe in the fulfillment of your desires, you no longer feel the need to struggle or strive. Instead, you align yourself with the outcome you seek, allowing it to come into your life naturally and effortlessly. This doesn't mean that you do nothing, rather. It means that your actions are guided by a sense of certainty and purpose, rather than by fear or desperation. Belief is a powerful force because it shapes your perception of reality. What you believe to be true becomes true for you. If you believe that you must struggle to achieve your desires, then struggle will be a part of your experience. But if you believe that your desires are already yours, then your experience will reflect that belief. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions will naturally align with the reality you have chosen to believe in, and the outer world will conform to this inner state. The power of belief also lies in its ability to bypass the limitations of the rational mind. The mind often gets caught up in the how and when of manifestation, creating doubt and uncertainty. But belief transcends these limitations. It doesn't concern itself with the details of how something will happen, it simply knows that it will happen. This kind of belief creates a sense of ease and flow in your life, allowing you to move through the world with confidence and grace. In essence, the power of belief over struggle is about shifting from a mindset of scarcity and lack to one of abundance and fulfillment. It's about recognizing that the effort you put into trying to manifest your desires is often counterproductive, because it stems from a place of doubt. When you believe deeply and truly in the reality of your desires, you no longer need to struggle. You can relax into the knowing that what you seek is already yours, and that the universe is working in perfect harmony to bring it into your experience. Living in the end is a transformative approach to life that reshapes how we engage with our desires and aspirations. This concept encourages us to mentally and emotionally occupy the state of already having achieved what we desire, rather than focusing on the process of getting there. It is about embodying the feeling of the wish fulfilled, living from the perspective that what you desire is already a reality. This shift in perspective has profound implications, as it directly influences how we think, feel, and act. When you live in the end, you are not just imagining your desired outcome, you are fully immersing yourself in the experience of having it. This requires you to cultivate the emotions, thoughts, and behaviors that you would naturally have if your desire were already realized. For example, if your goal is to achieve financial abundance, living in the end would mean feeling the security, freedom, and peace of mind that comes with having financial stability, even if your current circumstances do not yet reflect that reality. You would begin to make decisions, take actions, and think in ways that are consistent with someone who is already financially abundant. This approach is rooted in the understanding that our external reality is a reflection of our internal state. By living in the end, you align your inner world with the reality you wish to experience. This alignment is powerful because it sends a clear message to your subconscious mind and to the universe you are ready to receive what you desire. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are congruent with the end result, the universe responds by rearranging circumstances, events, and opportunities to match your inner state. One of the key aspects of living in the end is the emotional resonance it creates. Emotions are a powerful driving force in the manifestation process. When you consistently feel the emotions associated with your desired outcome, you create a vibrational match between your current state and the state of your fulfilled desire. This emotional alignment is what draws your desire into your experience. It's important to note that this is not about forcing yourself to feel something you don't genuinely feel, rather. It's about gradually shifting your emotional state by focusing on thoughts and images that evoke the feelings you would have if your desire were already fulfilled. Living in the end also involves letting go of the attachment to how and when your desire will manifest. When you are fully immersed in the state of already having your desire, you no longer worry about the details of how it will come to be. You trust that the universe will handle the specifics, and you remain focused on maintaining the inner state of fulfillment. This detachment from the outcome paradoxically accelerates the manifestation process because it removes the resistance that often comes with overthinking and overanalyzing. Another important aspect of living in the end is the impact it has on your self-concept. When you see yourself as the person who already has what you desire, your self-image begins to shift. You start to identify with the version of yourself who has already achieved your goals. And this new self-concept influences every aspect of your life. Your beliefs, habits, and behaviors naturally begin to align with your new self-image, making it easier to take the actions necessary to bring your desire into physical reality. Living in the end also changes how you respond to challenges and setbacks. When you are anchored in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, obstacles no longer have the same power to derail you. You see them as temporary and insignificant in the grand scheme of your overall vision. This resilience comes from the deep knowing that your desired outcome is inevitable. You no longer react to external circumstances with fear or doubt because your inner state of fulfillment is so strong that it overrides any temporary setbacks. It's also important to recognize that living in the end is not about ignoring your current reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. Instead, it's about holding a dual awareness, acknowledging your present circumstances while simultaneously maintaining the inner conviction that your desired outcome is already a reality. This dual awareness allows you to navigate the present moment with grace and confidence, knowing that your outer reality will eventually catch up with your inner state. Living in the end requires practice and consistency. It's not something that happens overnight, but with regular focus and intention, it becomes easier to maintain the state of the wish fulfilled. Visualization can be a powerful tool in this process. By regularly visualizing yourself in the scene of your fulfilled desire, you strengthen your ability to live in the end. Over time, this practice helps to reprogram your subconscious mind, making the state of fulfillment your default mode of being. So, in summary, living in the end is a profound approach to manifestation that involves fully embodying the state of having already achieved your desires. It requires you to align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you wish to experience, creating a powerful resonance that draws your desires into your life. By maintaining the feeling of the wish fulfilled and letting go of attachment to the how and when, you accelerate the manifestation process and bring your desires into physical reality with greater ease and grace. Letting go of effort and resistance is a crucial step in the manifestation process that often goes against our conventional understanding of how to achieve our goals. We are typically taught that hard work, effort, and persistence are the keys to success. While these qualities can certainly play a role, there is a point at which effort can become counterproductive, creating resistance that actually blocks the manifestation of our desires. Effort, in the context of manifestation, often stems from a place of lack of fear. When we try too hard to make something happen, it's usually because we don't believe that it will happen on its own. But this lack of belief creates a sense of urgency and desperation, which manifests as excessive effort. However, this kind of effort is rooted in a belief that we do not already have what we desire, and as a result, it reinforces the very lack we are trying to overcome. Resistance is the mental and emotional tension that arises when we believe that we have to struggle or fight for what we want. This resistance can take many forms, such as doubt, fear, impatience, or frustration. When we encounter obstacles or challenges, resistance often intensifies, leading us to push even harder. However, this approach can create a cycle of resistance where the more we try to force things to happen, the more they seem to resist our efforts. Letting go of effort and resistance involves shifting from a mindset of force to one of flow. Instead of trying to control every aspect of the manifestation process, we learn to trust in the natural unfolding of our desires. This doesn't mean that we stop taking action altogether, rather. It means that our actions are inspired and aligned with the state of having, rather than driven by fear or desperation. One of the first steps in letting go of effort and resistance is recognizing when we are in a state of struggle. This requires self-awareness and honesty. We need to be able to identify when our efforts are coming from a place of lack rather than abundance. When we notice that we are trying too hard, it's a signal that we need to step back, relax, and reconnect with the feeling of our wish fulfilled. Letting go also involves releasing the need to control the outcome. This can be one of the most challenging aspects of the process, especially if we are used to being in control. However, true manifestation requires us to trust that the universe knows the best way to bring our desires into reality. This trust allows us to let go of the how and when, focusing instead on maintaining the inner state of fulfillment. Another important aspect of letting go of effort and resistance is embracing a mindset of ease and grace. This means approaching the manifestation process with a sense of lightness and playfulness, rather than with seriousness and intensity. When we take things too seriously, we create unnecessary tension and stress, which can block the flow of manifestation. By adopting a more relaxed and joyful attitude, we open ourselves up to receive our desires with greater ease. It's also important to understand that letting go of effort and resistance does not mean giving up or becoming passive. On the contrary, it's about shifting from a mindset of force to one of alignment. When we are aligned with our desires, we naturally take inspired actions that feel effortless and joyful. These actions are not driven by a need to prove ourselves or to make something happen. They are guided by our inner knowing that our desires are already ours. Letting go of effort and resistance also involves cultivating patience and trust in the timing of the universe. Often when we try too hard to manifest something, it's because we are impatient and want immediate results. However, the manifestation process operates on its own timeline, and sometimes what we desire requires time to unfold. By trusting in divine timing, we can let go of the need to rush or force things, allowing our desires to come into our lives at the perfect moment. Letting go of effort and resistance requires a deep commitment to self-care and well-being. When we are overly focused on manifesting our desires, we can easily neglect our physical, emotional, and mental health. However, taking care of ourselves is essential to the manifestation process. When we are relaxed, balanced, and in a state of well-being, we are more open and receptive to the flow of manifestation. Self-care practices such as meditation, mindfulness, exercise, and spending time in nature can help us release resistance and return to a state of ease. Aligning with the feeling of fulfillment is a cornerstone of successful manifestation. It involves more than just thinking positively or visualizing your desires. It's about fully embodying the emotions, thoughts, and actions of someone who has already achieved what they want. This alignment creates a powerful resonance with the reality you seek to create, drawing it into your experience with greater ease and certainty. To align with the feeling of fulfillment, it's essential to understand that emotions are not just fleeting reactions, but are integral to shaping your reality. Emotions are the energy in motion that signal to the universe what you are experiencing internally. When you feel joy, gratitude, and satisfaction, you are broadcasting a frequency that attracts experiences and circumstances that match those feelings. Conversely, when you feel lack, frustration, or doubt, you are inadvertently attracting more of those experiences into your life. The first step in aligning with the feeling of fulfillment is to cultivate a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful emotion that can instantly shift your focus from what you lack to what you already have. When you focus on what you are grateful for, you acknowledge the abundance in your life, no matter how small it may seem. This acknowledgement sends a signal to the universe that you are open to receiving more of what you desire. It's important to practice gratitude not just for the things you already have, but also for the things you want, as if they have already manifested. This practice aligns your energy with the state of having rather than wanting, which is crucial for manifestation. Another key aspect of aligning with the feeling of fulfillment is to engage in visualization. Visualization is not just about imagining a picture of your desired outcome, it's about immersing yourself in the sensory experience of having it. When you visualize, see, hear, and feel what it would be like to live in your desired reality. Engage all your senses in the process. For example, if you are visualizing a new home, imagine walking through each room, feeling the textures of the furniture, smelling the fresh paint, and hearing the sounds that would be present in that environment. The more vivid and detailed your visualization, the more real it will feel to your subconscious mind, which cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It's also important to act as if your desire is already manifested. This doesn't mean pretending or living beyond your means, but rather adopting the mindset, habits, and behaviors of someone who has already achieved what you want. For instance, if you are seeking financial abundance, start managing your current finances with the care and attention of someone who is already wealthy. Make decisions from a place of abundance rather than lack. This alignment in actions reinforces the feeling of fulfillment and helps bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. One of the challenges in aligning with the feeling of fulfillment is dealing with the gap between your current reality and your desired outcome. It's natural to notice the difference, but it's important not to dwell on it. When you focus too much on the absence of what you want, you reinforce the feeling of lack, which can delay the manifestation process. Instead, whenever you notice the gap, use it as an opportunity to reaffirm your commitment to the feeling of fulfillment. Remind yourself that the gap is only temporary and that your desired outcome is already on its way to you. Aligning with the feeling of fulfillment also requires consistency. It's not enough to feel fulfilled sporadically or only when things are going well. You must cultivate this feeling consistently, even in the face of challenges or delays. This doesn't mean denying your emotions or pretending to be happy when you're not, but it does mean making a conscious effort to return to the feeling of fulfillment as often as possible. Practices such as meditation, affirmations, and journaling can help you maintain this alignment over time. In essence, aligning with the feeling of fulfillment is about living from the inside out. It's about making your internal state the primary reality and trusting that the external world will eventually catch up. When you consistently align with the feeling of having what you desire, you create a magnetic force that draws that reality into your life. This alignment not only accelerates the manifestation process, but also brings you a deep sense of peace and contentment, knowing that what you seek is already yours. Manifestation through calm assurance is a powerful approach that emphasizes the importance of a relaxed, confident mindset in the process of creating your desired reality. Unlike traditional methods that may focus on intense effort, willpower, or constant striving, calm assurance relies on a deep, unshakable belief that what you desire is already on its way to you. This mindset allows you to navigate the manifestation process with grace, patience, and certainty, free from the anxiety and stress that often accompany the pursuit of goals. At the heart of calm assurance is the understanding that the universe is always responding to your state of being. When you are calm and assured, you are signaling to the universe that you trust in the unfolding of your desires. This trust is crucial because it eliminates resistance and opens the channels through which your desires can flow into your life. Resistance often arises from doubt, fear, or impatience emotions that signal to the universe that you are not fully aligned with the reality you seek to create. By cultivating calm assurance, you replace these lower vibrations with a sense of ease and certainty, allowing the manifestation process to proceed smoothly. One of the key components of calm assurance is the ability to detach from the outcome. Detachment doesn't mean that you don't care about your desires or that you're indifferent to whether they manifest. Rather, it means that you are not obsessively attached to how and when they will manifest. You trust that the universe has its own timing and that everything will unfold perfectly. Now, this detachment frees you from the need to control every aspect of the process, allowing you to relax and enjoy the journey. When you are detached from the outcome, you can focus on maintaining a positive, expectant state of being, knowing that what you desire is inevitable. Calm assurance also involves a deep sense of self-confidence and self-worth. When you believe in your own value and your ability to create your desired reality, you naturally radiate an energy of calm confidence. This energy is magnetic and attracts opportunities, resources, and people that support the manifestation of your desires. Confidence in your ability to manifest comes from understanding that you are a co-creator with the universe, that you have the power to shape your reality through your thoughts, feelings, and actions. When you fully embrace this power, you no longer feel the need to force things to happen instead. You trust that your desires are being brought to you in the perfect way. Another important aspect of calm assurance is patience. Patience is not just about waiting, it's about maintaining your calm and positive state of being while you wait. It's about trusting that the universe is working behind the scenes, even when you don't see immediate results. Patience allows you to remain centered and focused on your desired outcome, without becoming discouraged or anxious. It's important to remember that the manifestation process often involves a gestation period, where your desires are being prepared to come into physical form. During this time, your job is to stay calm, assured, and aligned with the feeling of fulfillment. Calm assurance also requires a shift in focus from the external world to your inner state. In the process of manifestation, it's easy to get caught up in external circumstances, especially when things don't seem to be going your way. However, the key to calm assurance is to focus more on your internal state than on external conditions. This means prioritizing how you feel and think over what you see in your external reality. By maintaining a calm and assured inner state, you create a stable foundation that is not easily shaken by external events. This inner stability is what allows you to continue moving forward with confidence, even in the face of challenges. One of the practical ways to cultivate calm assurance is through mindfulness and meditation. These practices help you stay grounded in the present moment, reduce stress, and connect with your inner sense of peace. When you meditate, you create a space where you can detach from the busyness of the mind and reconnect with the deep, calm center within you. This practice reinforces the feeling of calm assurance and helps you maintain it throughout your day. Another way to cultivate calm assurance is to engage in positive self-talk and affirmations. Affirmations such as "I trust in the perfect unfolding of my desires" or "everything is working out for my highest good" can reinforce your sense of calm and confidence. By regularly affirming your belief in the manifestation process, you strengthen your ability to remain calm and assured, even when external circumstances seem uncertain. Calm assurance is also closely linked to the practice of surrender. Surrendering to the flow of life means letting go of the need to control and trusting that everything is happening for your highest good. It means allowing the universe to guide you, knowing that it has a broader perspective and that it knows the best way to bring your desires into your life. Surrender is not about giving up. It's about letting go of resistance and allowing the natural flow of life to carry you toward your goals. Manifestation through calm assurance is about cultivating a relaxed, confident mindset that trusts in the natural unfolding of your desires. It involves detachment from the outcome, a deep sense of self-confidence, patience, and a focus on maintaining a positive inner state. By aligning with the energy of calm assurance, you eliminate resistance and create a powerful magnetic force that draws your desires into your life. This approach not only accelerates the manifestation process, but also brings a sense of peace, joy, and fulfillment, knowing that what you desire is already on its way to you. In conclusion, the journey of manifestation is not one of relentless struggle or desperate striving, but one of deep inner alignment, calm assurance, and unwavering trust. When you shift your focus from trying hard to manifest your desires to embodying the state of already having them, you unlock the true power within you to create your reality. By living in the end, you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the fulfillment you seek, allowing the universe to respond in kind, letting go of effort and resistance, and instead embracing a mindset of ease and flow, opens the door to effortless manifestation. As you cultivate the feeling of fulfillment and maintain a calm, assured mindset, you create a magnetic force that draws your desires into your life with grace and certainty. Remember, manifestation is not about forcing outcomes or controlling every detail. It's about trusting the process, believing in your own power, and allowing the universe to work in perfect harmony with your intentions. As you move forward, carry with you the knowledge that what you seek is already yours. Live from that place of fulfillment and watch as your world transforms to reflect the reality you have claimed within.
I want you to understand that these habits we'll discuss are not external forces imposed upon you. They are patterns of thought and behavior that you have accepted, perhaps unknowingly, as part of your reality. But just as you have accepted them, you have the power to release them and step into your true, limitless nature. Let us begin with the first habit, living in the past. My dear friends, how often do you find yourselves dwelling on past events, reliving old hurts, or longing for times gone by? This habit of living in the past is perhaps the most insidious of all, for it robs you of your true creative power, the power of now. You see, the past, as you perceive it, is nothing more than a shadow, a memory traced in the halls of your mind. It has no substance, no reality, except that which you give it through your attention. When you dwell in the past, you are quite literally creating it anew in your present experience. Imagine, if you will, a projector in a cinema. The images on the screen seem real, don't they? They evoke emotions, trigger responses. But are they truly real? No, they are mere projections, illusions of light and shadow. Your memories, your past, are much the same. They are projections of your consciousness given light by your attention. But here's the liberating truth. You are not the projectionist, bound to play the same reel over and over. You are the projector itself, the source of all images. You have the power to change the reel, to project new images, to create a new reality. How do you do this? By fully embracing the power of the present moment. By recognizing that now is the only point of power. It is in this moment, right here, right now, that you have the ability to choose, to create, to manifest. When you catch yourself dwelling on the past, gently but firmly bring your attention back to the present. Feel the aliveness of this moment. Recognize that in this now you are free, you are powerful, you are divine. The past no power over you unless you give it power. This leads us seamlessly to our second habit, worrying about the future. Just as living in the past robs you of your power, so too does anxiety about the future. How many of you lie awake at night mind racing with what ifs and worst case scenarios? This habit of projecting fear into the future is a misuse of your divine creative power. You see, my dear friends, the future does not exist except as a concept in your mind. It is a blank canvas waiting for the strokes of your imagination. When you worry about the future, you are using your God-given power of creation to manifest the very things you fear. Remember, your imagination is not just idle fantasy. It is the very workshop in which your reality is forged. What you imagine with feeling, with conviction, becomes the blueprint for your experience. When you worry, you are imagining negative outcomes and imbuing them with the power of your emotion. You are in essence praying for what you do not want. Instead of worrying about the future, I urge you to use your imagination constructively. See the future you desire. Feel it live it in your mind as if it were already a reality. For in truth it is, in the realm of infinite possibility, which is your true home, all possibilities already exist. Your job is not to make things happen, but to align yourself with the reality you prefer. When you find yourself worrying about the future, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that the future is not set in stone, but is clay in your hands. Then consciously choose to imagine the outcome you desire. Feel the relief, the joy, the satisfaction of that perfect future. Let those feelings fill your being. This is not mere positive thinking, my friends. This is the active use of your divine creative power. Now let us move on to the third habit, comparing yourself to others. This habit, my dear friends, is a particularly pernicious one, for it denies the unique divine spark that resides within each of you. When you compare yourself to others, you are looking outside of yourself for validation, for a measure of your worth. But I tell you, there is no standard external to you by which you can be measured. You are a unique expression of the divine. There has never been, nor will there ever be, another being exactly like you. Your journey, your experiences, your perspective are yours alone. To compare yourself to another is like comparing an oak tree to a rose bush. Both are perfect expressions of life, yet wholly unique in their manifestation. When you fall into the habit of comparison, you are denying your own divinity. You are saying to the universe, I am not enough as I am. But I assure you, you are more than enough. You are in fact all that is. For in your true nature, you are one with the divine, one with all of creation. Instead of comparing yourself to others, I urge you to turn your gaze inward. Recognize the divine spark within you. Celebrate your unique gifts, your particular way of expressing the infinite. For it is in embracing your true self, your divine nature, that you find true fulfillment and peace. When you catch yourself making comparisons, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of this truth. I am a perfect expression of the divine, all and complete as I am. Feel the truth of these words resonating in every cell of your being. For as you acknowledge your own divinity, you automatically release the need for external validation. This understanding leads us naturally to our fourth habit, seeking approval from others. My dear friends, how much of your life is spent seeking the approval of others? How often do you shape your actions, your words, even your thoughts, based on what you believe others want or expect from you? This habit of seeking external approval is a denial of your own inner guidance, your own divine wisdom. You see, within each of you is a direct line to the infinite intelligence of the universe. This inner knowing, this divine guidance is always available to you. It speaks to you in the language of intuition, of feeling, of inner knowing. But when you habitually seek approval from others, you drown out this inner voice. You replace divine wisdom with human opinion. Remember, no one else can know what is right for you. No one else walks in your shoes, sees through eyes, or knows the stirrings of your heart. The approval you seek outside yourself can only ever be a pale reflection of the divine approval that already resides within you. Instead of seeking approval from others, I urge you to cultivate a deep trust in your own inner guidance. Listen to the still, small voice within. Feel for the path that resonates with your deepest truth. For it is in aligning with this inner knowing that you step into your true power, your divine nature. When you find yourself seeking approval, pause, take a deep breath. Turn your attention inward and ask yourself, what do I know to be true? What feels right to me? Trust the answer that arises. It may come as a thought, a feeling, or simply a sense of knowing. This is your divine self, guiding you towards your highest good. Now, let us explore the fifth habit, negative self-talk. My dear friends, the words you speak to yourself are perhaps the most powerful in all of creation. For these words, these thoughts are the very instructions you give to the infinite to create your reality. When you engage in negative self-talk, you are quite literally programming yourself for limitation and failure. You see, the subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts as truth whatever you tell it repeatedly. When you habitually engage in negative self-talk, saying things like, I'm not good enough, or I always fail, you are instructing your subconscious to make these statements reality. Here's the liberating truth. Just as you have the power to program limitation, you have the power to program success, abundance, and joy. Your words, your thoughts are the tools with which you sculpt your reality. Instead of negative self-talk, I urge you to consciously cultivate positive, empowering inner dialogue. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you deeply love and respect. Affirm your divine nature, your inherent worthiness, your unlimited potential. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, pause. Take a deep breath. Then consciously choose to rephrase your thoughts in a positive, empowering way. Instead of I'm not good enough, say I am constantly growing and improving. Instead of I always fail, say every experience brings me closer to success. Remember, my dear friends, you are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. You have the power to choose which thoughts you will entertain, which seeds you will water in the garden of your mind. This understanding brings us to our sixth habit, perfectionism. Perfectionism. It masquerades as a virtue, doesn't it? The relentless pursuit of excellence, the refusal to settle for anything less than the best. But I tell you, my dear friends, perfectionism is a trap. It is a denial of your divine nature, which is already perfect, whole, and complete. You see, the pursuit of perfection implies that you are somehow flawed, incomplete, in need of improvement. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of your true nature. You are not a human being striving for perfection. You are a perfect divine being having a human experience. The habit of perfectionism keeps you in a constant state of striving, of reaching for a future state of better. But in doing so, it robs you of the joy and power of the present moment. It keeps you focused on what's wrong rather than celebrating what's right. Instead of perfectionism, I urge you to embrace the concept of excellence. Excellence acknowledges your current perfection while allowing for growth and expansion. It celebrates your efforts and achievements rather than constantly finding them lacking. When you find yourself caught in the grip of perfectionism, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of this truth. I am already perfect, whole, and complete. My experiences are opportunities for joyful expression, not tests to be passed. This shift in perspective allows you to approach your endeavors with joy and enthusiasm rather than anxiety and self-criticism. It allows you to fully express your divine nature in each moment, rather than postponing your joy to some future state of perfection. Now let us explore the seventh habit, avoiding responsibility. My dear friends, the avoidance of responsibility is perhaps one of the most limiting habits you can cultivate. For in avoiding responsibility, you are denying your own power as a creator. You are saying to the universe, I am not the author of my life, but a victim of circumstance. But I tell you, there are no victims in this universe, only creators who have forgotten their power. Every circumstance in your life, every experience you have, is a creation of your consciousness. This may seem a heavy burden to bear, but it is in fact the key to your liberation. You see, when you avoid responsibility, you place the power to change your life outside of yourself. You wait for circumstances to change, for others to behave differently, for luck to smile upon you. But in doing so, you give away your God-given power to get in. Instead of avoiding responsibility, I urge you to embrace it fully. Recognize that you are the author of your life story. Every thought, every word, every action is a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence. When you embrace this responsibility, you step into your power as a divine creator. When you find yourself avoiding responsibility, pause, take a deep breath. Then ask yourself, how have I created this situation? What can I learn from it? How can I use this as an opportunity for growth and transformation? These questions shift you from a victim mentality to a creator mentality. Remember, taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means acknowledging your power to create change. It means recognizing that regardless of what has happened in the past, you have the power to choose your response in this moment, and in doing so, to shape your future. This understanding leads us seamlessly to our eighth habit, fear of care. The fear of failure. How many dreams has it strangled in their cradle? How many divine expressions has it silenced? This habit, my dear friends, is perhaps the most limiting of all, for it keeps you small, keeps you safe, keeps you from expressing the fullness of your divine nature. But what is failure really? Is it not merely a judgment, a label we attach to certain outcomes? And who is the judge? Only you. You see, in the infinite realm of possibility, there is no failure. There are only experiences, each one an opportunity for growth, for learning, for expanding your consciousness. When you fear failure, you are saying to the universe, I do not trust in my divine nature. I do not believe in my ability to grow and adapt. But I tell you, there is nothing to fear, for you are an eternal being, a spark of the divine. No experience can diminish you. No outcome can lessen your inherent worth. Instead of fearing failure, I urge you to embrace it as a teacher. See every failure as feedback, as valuable information guiding you toward your highest expression. For it is often in our greatest challenges that we discover our greatest strengths. When you find yourself gripped by the fear of failure, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of this truth: I am an eternal being, whole and complete. Every experience enriches me. Every challenge strengthens me. I cannot fail, for I am always growing. This shift in perspective allows you to approach life with courage and enthusiasm. It frees you to take risks, to try new things, to fully express your divine nature without the paralyzing fear of what if. Now let us explore the ninth habit: lack of self-discipline. My dear friends, self-discipline is often misunderstood. Many see it as a form of self-denial or forcing oneself to unpleasant tasks. But true self-discipline is something far more powerful and liberating. It is the ability to align your actions with your highest intentions, to bring your outer world into harmony with your inner vision. You see, each of you has within you a vision of your highest self, your most divine expression. This vision is not something imposed from outside, but a knowing that comes from your deepest essence. Self-discipline is the bridge that allows you to bring this vision into reality. When you lack self-discipline, you are at the mercy of your fleeting moods, your temporary discomforts, your habitual patterns. You allow the small everyday self to override the wisdom of your higher self. In doing so, you deny your own divinity, your own power to shape your reality. Instead of viewing self-discipline as a burden, I urge you to see it as a form of self-love. It is the highest respect you can show to your divine nature. When you exercise self-discipline, you are saying to the universe, I honor my highest vision. I commit to my own growth and expansion. When you find yourself struggling with self-discipline, pause. Take a deep breath. Connect with your vision of your highest self. Feel the power and aliveness of that vision. Then ask yourself, what action would my highest self take in this moment? Trust the answer that arises and act on it. Remember, self-discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistent effort, about choosing again and again to align with your highest intentions. Each time you make this choice, you strengthen your connection to your divine nature. You expand your capacity to create your desired reality. And finally, we come to our 10th habit: neglecting self-care. My dear friends, your physical body is the temple of your divine spirit. It is the vehicle through which you experience this earthly realm, the instrument through which you express your divine nature. When you neglect self-care, you are not honoring this sacred vessel. But self-care goes beyond mere physical maintenance. True self-care nourishes your mind, your emotions, your spirit. It is about creating space in your life for joy, for rest, for reflection. It is about honoring your needs, respecting your boundaries, and nurturing your deepest self. When you neglect self-care, you are saying to the universe, I am not worthy of care and attention. But I tell you, you are worthy of all the care, all the love, all the attention you can give yourself. For in caring for yourself, you are caring for a unique expression of the divine. Instead of viewing self-care as selfish or indulgent, I urge you to see it as a sacred duty. Just as you would tend to a precious garden, tend to yourself with love, with attention, with devotion. For as you nurture yourself, you increase your capacity to express your divine nature, to bring more light into the world. When you find yourself neglecting self-care, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what does my deepest self need in this moment? It might be rest, nourishment, movement, connection, or quiet reflection. Trust the answer that arises and honor it. Remember, self-care is not about pampering yourself occasionally. It's about consistently honoring your needs, respecting your boundaries, and nurturing your whole being. It's about creating a life that supports your highest expression. Now, my dear friends, as we come to the close of our exploration of these 10 habits, I want you to understand something crucial. These habits, these patterns of thought and behavior, are not your true nature. They are simply habits, learned responses that you have adopted over time. And just as you have learned them, you can unlearn them. You see, you are not these habits. You are not your thoughts, your emotions, your past experiences. You are the awareness that observes all these things. You are the divine consciousness that animates your being. This awareness This consciousness untouched by any habit, any pattern, any experience. When you recognize this truth, when you identify with your true nature rather than with these temporary habits, you reclaim your power. You step into your divine inheritance as a creator, as a shaper of reality. So I urge you, my dear friends, to be vigilant. Watch your thoughts, your words, your actions. When you catch yourself falling into these habits of mental weakness, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of your true nature. Choose again, this time from a place of power and divine knowing. Remember, every moment is a new beginning. Every breath is an opportunity to realign with your highest self. You are not bound by your past, by your habits, by your perceived limitations. You are free here and now to choose again. As you go forth from this place, carry with you this knowing. You are a divine being, perfect, whole, and complete. These habits we've discussed are not flaws to be corrected, but opportunities for growth, for expansion, for more fully expressing your true nature. Embrace these opportunities. Use them as stepping stones on your journey of self-realization. For as you release these habits of mental weakness, you make space for your true strength to emerge. You allow your divine light to shine more brightly in the world. And know this as you do this work, as you consciously choose to align with your highest self, you are not just transforming your own life. You are contributing to the transformation of the entire world. For we are all one, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Your growth, your expansion, your light touches us all. So go forth, my dear friends, with courage and conviction. Recognize these habits when they arise, but do not judge them. Simply choose again. Choose to align with your highest self, your divine nature. For in doing so, you are fulfilling your sacred purpose. You are becoming who you truly are. Remember always, you are powerful beyond measure, loved beyond imagination, and capable of more than you could ever dream. Now go and let your divine light shine.
Imagine for a moment that you wake up tomorrow morning and everything has changed. You find yourself in a luxurious bedroom, surrounded by the trappings of wealth and success. The silk sheets caress your skin as you stretch out in a bed that feels like a cloud. Sunlight streams through the floor-to-ceiling windows, casting a warm glow on the elegant furnishings. As you step out of bed, your feet sink into the plush carpet, and you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror. You look different somehow, confident, radiant, and utterly at peace. And then it hits you. This isn't just a dream, this is your new reality. You are now a millionaire with all the power and potential that comes with it. But how did you get here? And more importantly, how can you maintain this incredible state of abundance? The answer may surprise you. It's not about luck or even hard work, though those things certainly play a role. No, the secret to becoming a millionaire lies within the very core of your being. It's a secret that the wealthy have known for centuries, but that most people never discover. And today I'm going to share that secret with you. Are you ready to unlock the door to wealth? Success and abundance beyond your wildest dreams. Are you ready to step into the life you've always imagined for yourself? If so, then listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you has the power to transform your reality in ways you never thought possible. The journey to becoming a millionaire starts with a single, revolutionary idea that you already are one. That's right. The only thing standing between you and the wealth you desire is your own belief system. And once you learn how to align your beliefs with your deepest desires, there will be no limit to what you can achieve. What would it feel like to wake up every day knowing that you have the power to create any reality you choose? What would it feel like to have complete financial freedom? To never worry about money again? What would it feel like to have the time and resources to pursue your passions, to travel the world, to give generously to the causes you believe in? This is the life of a millionaire, and it's a life that is waiting for you. All you have to do is claim it. But how? You might be wondering. How can you possibly become a millionaire when you're starting from where you are now? The answer is simple. By harnessing the power of your imagination. You see, your imagination is the most potent tool you possess. is the gateway to infinite possibilities and the key to unlocking your true potential. When you learn to use your imagination consciously and deliberately, you can quite literally create any reality you desire. So, how exactly do you harness the power of your imagination to create the reality of a millionaire? It starts with a simple yet profound exercise. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Now imagine yourself living the life of your dreams. See yourself surrounded by all the trappings of wealth and success. The beautiful home, the luxurious car, the designer clothes. Feel the confidence and ease that comes with knowing you have all the resources you need to live life on your own terms. But don't just imagine the external markers of success. Go deeper. Imagine how it feels to wake up every day with a sense of purpose and excitement. Imagine the joy of being able to pursue your passions without worrying about money. Imagine the satisfaction of being able to give generously to the people and causes you care about. Really feel those emotions. The gratitude, the abundance, the deep sense of fulfillment. Now here's the key. You need to practice this exercise every single day. Set aside time each morning and evening to visualize your ideal life in vivid detail. The more real you can make it feel, the more powerful the effect will be. And as you do this consistently, something incredible will start to happen. Your subconscious mind will begin to accept this new reality as truth. You'll start to think, feel, and act like a millionaire, even if your current circumstances don't reflect that. This is the power of your imagination at work. By focusing your mind on the reality you want to create, you're quite literally reprogramming your brain to attract and manifest that reality. You're sending a clear signal to the universe that this is who you are and what you expect to experience. And as you do this consistently, the universe will have no choice but to respond in kind. But it's not just about visualizing and hoping for the best. To truly harness the power of your imagination, you need to back it up with action. Start taking steps, no matter how small, towards the life you want to create. If you want to be a millionaire, start educating yourself about wealth creation. Start saving and investing your money wisely. Start surrounding yourself with people who have already achieved the level of success you desire. As you take consistent action towards your goals, something magical will start to happen. Opportunities will begin to appear out of nowhere. People and resources will come into your life at just the right moment. You start to see evidence of your imagined reality manifesting in your physical world. And as you continue to align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the vibration of wealth and abundance, you will find that your external circumstances begin to shift in incredible ways. This is the true power of your imagination. It's not just a tool for daydreaming or escapism. It's a tool for creation, for quite literally bringing your deepest desires into physical form. And when you combine the power of your imagination with consistent, aligned action, there is nothing you cannot achieve. So start today. Take a few minutes right now to close your eyes and imagine the life of your dreams. Feel the reality of it in every cell of your being. And then open your eyes and start taking action, no matter how small, towards making that vision a reality. The more you do this, the more natural it will become. Until one day you wake up and realize that you're living the life you once only dreamed of. Remember, you are the creator of your own reality. You have the power to shape your life in any way you choose. And when you harness the power of your imagination and back it up with consistent action, there is no limit to what you can achieve. So dream big, take action. And trust in the power of your own mind to create the life of abundance and prosperity you deserve. Now, as powerful as the imagination is, it's not enough on its own to create lasting change. To truly transform your reality and embody the essence of a millionaire, you need to align your inner world with your desired outer world. This means taking a deep dive into your own mind and confronting the beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that may be holding you back from achieving your full potential. Let me ask you a question. What do you currently believe about money and wealth? Do you see it as something scarce and hard to come by? Do you believe that you have to work yourself to the bone just to make ends meet? Do you feel like you're not worthy or deserving of financial abundance? If any of these beliefs resonate with you, then it's time to do some serious
You see, your beliefs are the lens through which you view the world. They shape your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately your actions. And if your beliefs are not in alignment with the reality you want to create, then you'll always be fighting an uphill battle. That's why it's so important to identify and challenge any limiting beliefs you may have about money and success. So how do you do that? Start by paying attention to your thoughts. Notice when you have a negative or limiting thought about money and ask yourself, is this really true? Is this belief serving me or is it holding me back? Then consciously choose to replace that thought with a more empowering one. For example, instead of thinking I'll never be able to afford that, try thinking I am open to receiving abundance in all forms. This may feel uncomfortable or even silly at first, but stick with it. The more you practice replacing your limiting beliefs with empowering ones, the more natural it will become. And as you do this consistently, you'll start to notice a shift in your emotions and your actions as well. You'll feel more confident, more optimistic, and more motivated to take action towards your goals. But it's not just about changing your thoughts. To truly align your inner world with your desired reality, you need to feel the emotions of already being a millionaire. This means tapping into the feelings of abundance, gratitude, and joy that come with living a life of financial freedom. And the best way to do this is through the power of visualization. Remember that exercise we did earlier, where you imagined yourself living the life of your dreams. Take that a step further now. Really feel the emotions of that reality. Feel the sense of ease and flow that comes with knowing you have all the resources you need. Feel the deep sense of fulfillment that comes with being able to live life on your own terms. Feel the joy and excitement of being able to create and experience anything you desire. As you practice feeling these emotions regularly, something incredible will start to happen. Your subconscious mind will begin to accept this new emotional state as your default way of being. You'll start to carry yourself with a new sense of confidence and ease. You'll start to attract people and opportunities that are in alignment with your desired reality. And you'll start to take inspired action towards your goals, knowing that success is inevitable. This is the power of aligning your inner world with your desired outer world. By changing your beliefs, your thoughts, and your emotions, you're quite literally changing the vibrational frequency at which you operate. And when you operate at the frequency of wealth and abundance, the universe has no choice. But it's important to remember that this is a practice, not a one-time event. You didn't develop your current beliefs and thought patterns overnight, and you won't change them overnight either. It takes consistent effort and dedication to rewire your brain for success. But the more you practice, the easier it will become, until one day you wake up and realize that your inner world and your outer world are in perfect harmony. So start today. Take some time to examine your beliefs about money and success. Notice where you may be holding yourself back and consciously choose to replace those limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Practice feeling the emotions of abundance and gratitude, even if your current circumstances don't reflect that. And trust that as you align your inner world with your desired reality, your outer world will begin to shift in miraculous ways. Remember, you are the creator of your own reality. You have the power to shape your beliefs, your thoughts, and your emotions in any way you choose. And when you do the inner work to align yourself with the vibration of wealth and success, there's nothing you cannot achieve. So keep practicing, keep believing, and keep moving forward, knowing that your wildest dreams are well within reach. So, now that you understand the importance of aligning your inner world with your desired reality, let's dive deeper into what it really means to cultivate a millionaire mindset. Because here's the truth. Becoming a millionaire isn't just about the actions you take or the strategies you employ. It's about who you become in the process. It's about adopting the thoughts, beliefs, and habits of someone who is already wealthy and successful. If you want to become physically fit, you wouldn't just go through the motions of working out and eating healthy. You would actually embody the identity of a fit person. You would start to see yourself as someone who prioritizes their health and well-being. You would make choices that align with that identity, even when it's not easy or convenient. And as a result, you would naturally start to look and feel like the fit person you already believe yourself to be. The same principle applies to cultivating a millionaire mindset. If you want to become a millionaire, you need to start seeing yourself as one right here and now. You need to embody the identity of someone who is wealthy, successful, and abundant in every way. And the more you do this, the more your external reality will begin to reflect your internal state. So what does it actually mean to have a millionaire mindset? Well, there are a few key characteristics that most wealthy and successful people share. And if you want to cultivate a millionaire mindset for yourself, it's important to understand and embody these traits. First and foremost, millionaires have an unwavering belief in themselves and their abilities. They know that they're capable of achieving anything they set their minds to, no matter how big or audacious the goal may seem. They don't let fear doubt or other people's opinions hold them back from going after what they want. Instead, they cultivate an unshakable sense of self-confidence and trust in their own potential. If you want to cultivate this kind of self-belief, start by affirming yourself every day. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm capable of achieving anything I desire. I trust in my abilities and my potential. I am worthy of wealth, success, and abundance in every form. Repeat these affirmations to yourself regularly, even if they don't feel entirely true at first. The more you practice believing in yourself, the more natural it will become. Another key trait of millionaires is that they have a growth mindset. They don't see failure or setbacks as permanent roadblocks, but rather as opportunities for learning and growth. They understand that success is not a straight line, but rather a journey of ups and downs, twists and turns, and they embrace the challenges and obstacles along the way, knowing that each one is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. To cultivate a growth mindset, start by reframing the way you think about failure. Instead of seeing it as a personal shortcoming or a reason to give up, see it as a valuable lesson and an opportunity to course correct. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this setback to become better and stronger? And then take action based on those insights, knowing that each step forward is bringing you closer to your ultimate goals. Millionaires also tend to be highly focused and disciplined in their pursuits. They don't get sidetracked by shiny objects or temporary distractions. Instead, they stay laser focused on their goals and priorities, and they take consistent action towards achieving them every single day. They understand that success is not about making a few big, dramatic leaps, but rather about taking small, deliberate steps in the right direction over time. To cultivate this kind of focus and discipline, start by getting clear on your goals and priorities. What do you really want to achieve in your life and business? What is most important to you? Once you have that clarity, create a plan of action and commit to taking consistent steps towards your goals every day, no matter how small those steps may seem. And when distractions or obstacles arise, as they inevitably will, remind yourself of your bigger vision and stay the course. Finally, millionaires tend to surround themselves with other successful, like-minded people. They understand the power of peer influence and the importance of having a strong support system on their journey to success. They seek out mentors, coaches, and colleagues who can challenge them, inspire them, and help them grow. And they're intentional about creating an environment that supports their goals and aspirations. To cultivate this kind of supportive environment for yourself, start by seeking out people who are already living the kind of life you want to create. Attend events and conferences in your industry. Join mastermind groups or coaching programs. And surround yourself with individuals who are committed to growth and success. And as you build these relationships, be generous with your own knowledge, resources, and support. The more you give to others, the more you will receive in return. Cultivating a millionaire mindset is not a one-time event, but rather a lifelong journey of growth and self-discovery. It requires consistent effort, dedication, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. But the rewards are more than worth it. When you embody the thoughts, beliefs, and habits of a millionaire, you quite literally become a magnet for wealth, success, and abundance in every area of your life. So start today. Affirm your self-belief, cultivate a growth mindset, stay focused and disciplined in your pursuits, and surround yourself with people who support and inspire you. And trust that as you do this inner work, your outer world will begin to reflect the millionaire mindset you've cultivated within. Remember, you are not just trying to become a millionaire. You are becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts wealth and success in all forms. You are becoming the best version of yourself. And in doing so, you are creating a life of true abundance and fulfillment. So keep going. Keep growing. And keep believing in the power of your own potential. The world is waiting for you to claim your place as a true millionaire, in every sense of the word. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, okay, I understand the importance of cultivating a millionaire mindset.